So I am back on here again to talk about Dave Chappelle, and I feel like I just talked about Dave Chappelle, probably because I did, because I did a video talking about him and the baby, and at first I thought I was going to just go and slip that part in there, but I said these are two different stories, and I wanted to keep them separate, and it makes good for added content, so why not? So I'm back here talking about Dave Chappelle again because he released his latest stand-up, and according to the previous story I did, that's his last stand-up that he's going to be doing with Netflix, and called The Closer. I haven't gotten a chance to sit down and watch it yet. Maybe one of these days I will, because I've been hearing great things from credible people. But some people are upset about this, especially those in Hall T. And let me tell you something, Hall T this past week, has literally showed their entire ass over this whole Dave Chappelle stand-up situation, especially this one person by the name of Jacqueline Moore over at Netflix, who is the showrunner for this show, Dear White People. Now, Dear White People was a movie that came out, I think, in 2013, and then they turned it into a show. I didn't even know that the show was being ran by a white person. And I say person because I think this Jacqueline Moore was born a man, because I'm looking at the person's face, and this person has some very strong features. Look like they could be one of the Wachowskis. And they were upset about the whole Dave Chappelle thing. Now here's the thing. Dave Chappelle, based on what I saw in clips, he did not say anything bad or disparaging about that community. He did not. It's even gotten to the point where other people in the academy have come out and defended him and saying, I don't know why they're trying to make a mountain out of a molehill, because whatever they thought they heard, I did not hear. And I saw that on several posts. It wasn't just a one-off. It was in a repetitive motion from various people within that academy. So it's other people out here that's making it saying, oh, he's attacking trans, him saying these things is going to get trans people hurt. It's even some people in Hall T that are like, what are y'all talking about? Did we watch the same special? Like, what are you talking about? You even had this person who was a member of Hall T who was, I think they said they were murdered, and their family came out and defended Dave Chappelle and was like, what are they talking about? What is really going on? See, they just proved his point, because he said in his special, and it goes back to that video I did about the baby, that you can kill as a black person, you can kill another black person and no one thinks anything of it. It's just another day. But if you dare say anything about the academy, then everybody loses their minds. It kind of reminds me of that line from The Dark Knight with the Joker when he was talking to Two-Face inside of the hospital. I forgot how the line went, but if y'all remember what I'm talking about, it's like the same exact thing. So now, basically, and shout out to Professor Black Truth, because he did a video on this, it's nothing but a bunch of phony outrage. At the end of the day, it's fake and phony outrage. Dave Chappelle has been talking about the academy in so many of his stand-ups over the years, and they never really said anything about it of this magnitude, but now they're choosing to be upset, and that's why people are looking at them funny. I've even heard through the grapevine that those in lgbt didn't even want T to be a part of that community because they said they bring too much drama, and I've heard that on numerous occasions. They just basically said they kind of shoehorn their way in there. But what got me is that I'm seeing like certain people, certain organizations coming out to try to get at Dave Chappelle. And what they're mad at is that you have Dave Chappelle, who is a black man, who is not backing down from these so-called threats that he's getting. And the threats are so amateurish and so childlike that even a child wouldn't even flinch or cry at these so-called these verbal assaults. Because it's the same thing, wash, rinse, and repeat. Like like I said, they're really upset that they cannot get this man to get off of his square. He's standing firmly on his square, and they cannot move him. So they'll just throw taunts and stuff out there that makes no sense. But another thing that got me was that you have this organization, I forgot what it's called. It's called the National Black something. I don't know what it is, but I just heard about it this past week. that's supposed to be this group that's for black people who's in the academy or whatever. And Professor Black Truth had to call them out on it. And I agree. Don't call yourself a national black anything if you're only going to focus on the academy. Take black out of it and just insert the academy in there somewhere. Because when you say national black something, we're going to assume that it's for all black people, not just a certain community within a community. They came out and said something, but we learned that that whole organization is pretty much white ran, but has black mascots, much like the Root, much like the Griot, much like BNC, and so on and so forth. Fox Soul. So, but yeah, like I said, it's just a bunch of phony outrage at the end of the day from that group over there. And surprisingly, but also it's kind of refreshing, it's not all of them. It's just a few of them over there, you know, those who got a blue check, those who are so-called liberal, that are the ones that are so-called upset about this. Like they are so mad about this. It's absolutely insane. And now I'm learning also that they are mad at Dave Chappelle for defending J.K. Rowling. And I think I mentioned that in my video before this with the baby. They say, I'm looking at this headline. It says Dave Chappelle condemned for defending J.K. Rowling in Netflix special over trans row. Because people know of her stance about the Hall T. And they got mad at her. But was she lying? That's the thing. You can be mad all you want, but are the people that you're mad at, are they lying? Now, some of them will try to deflect and go and dance around that question, but you don't let them get too far or let them get far at all. You bring it back to the original question. Then some will say that they are and then start going off into a tangent that just doesn't make any sense. Dave Chappelle did not say anything offensive about that community or anything that can get them harmed or worse. Y'all are just making a mountain out of a molehill for absolutely nothing, and you're just trying to grab all the attention that you possibly can. Even Professor Black Truth had went on this woman by the name of Maya Wiley. I guess she's some kind of politician, or as I like to call it, politician in New York, who I guess lost the position that she was running for. And she put out this tweet towards Dave Chappelle talking about, you know, this is harming trans people and whatnot. This goes back to another thing I said. Black women, because Maya Wiley is a black woman. Black women, why do you keep trying to defend a group of people who are obviously confused about themselves internally, who are trying to be you physically? I'm really not understanding. In all the stories I've talked about where people in that community have fought you physically and beat you. Remember, at the end of the day, these are men. Don't forget, they're trying to shoehorn, not even trying, they are shoehorning their way into women's sports. And then they found a way to try to defend why that is. I was watching a video where someone was talking or trying to defend trans women getting into women's sports and why they won. You want to know what one of their reasons was? Oh, because the natural born woman just wasn't a good fighter. That's what they said. Because the natural born woman was not a good fighter. Really? Maybe she is a good fighter, but at the end of the day, she's fighting a man pretending to be a woman. Ever thought about that? But like I said, they'll have all kinds of excuses that they possibly can come up with to try to defend foolishness. Because that's what it is at the end of the day. I also have to give a shout out to another channel. You may or may not be familiar with him. His name is Sheep Stay Sleep. He's been doing a series so far on his channel, and I probably will link his channel down below so you can actually see for yourself, called the Black masculine homo agenda or something like that. So far, he's on 7 parts. By the time I get to this video being uploaded, he might be on his 10th part. But he's done so many, like he's done 7-part series. The most recent one he did was on a commentary that I just talked about, which was about that Brett Rockman being the first openly gay man to pose on the cover of Playboy wearing that Playboy bunny costume. Granted, Brett Rockman is not black, but he is Filipino. So, you know, in society's eyes, he's dark enough. He's dark enough to, quote unquote, contribute to the agenda. But yeah, I stand with Dave Chappelle with this. I hope that I feel like I don't even have to say I hope that Dave Chappelle doesn't change his stance, because he's not going to. I hope he realizes, and I think he does realize, that there's literally a lot more people in his corner than not. So, and I think he realizes that this guy has been doing stand-up since the 90s. So he's been doing this before the quote unquote, you know, the agenda really started to take shape, or really start to reveal itself. And as far as Hall T, and like I said, I was planning on reading the article, but you know what? I'm never going to read it. I think I pretty much got out everything that needs to be said. As far as Hall T, y'all have some huge self-examining issues that y'all need to work through. Because being mad at Dave Chappelle and all these other people who just have an opinion, and the opinion does not bash you or harm you in any way, has got to stop. It makes you look idiotic at the end of the day. Honestly, many of you have already been on Idiocy Island, but now it's even more glaring. And it actually aids into what many people have been saying about this agenda all along. That's another thing. The denial that an agenda even exists. I guess it wouldn't exist to you because you're contributing to it. When people contribute to something, they're going to by default say that they don't see anything, even if they know that it's there. But I'm going to go ahead and end the video on this note right here. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments.